the Can Diversity Collective's Inkwell Beach, one of our final panels of the day. I'm super excited to bring the next group up. 3 of them are our previous ambassadors. They've come back to volunteer, and we have a special guest joining them, Brandon McCleary, who's the co-founder and president of Yellow Party. So everybody come on up. We're going to have a conversation on the power of creative impact, using creativity to transform and build community. Give them a round of applause.
Hello, hello. How's it going? We need energy. We need energy. How's it going?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. There we go. Thank you all. This is our second of last panel. This has been a long, phenomenal week of great programming. So we wanted to have a conversation to bring 3 folks and my good brother, Brandon McCleary, together to have a conversation about creative impact, but more importantly, how we use such to build community, not only in our communities and back home in the States, but around the world. So we'll just go down the panel and do some brief introductions. And I'll start off with Lo Harris to my left.
Hey, y'all. I said, hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
That's right. My name is Lo Harris. I am a visual artist, and I am so happy to be here. I used to be an ambassador with the Can Diversity Collective. I'm passing it on.
How's it going, everyone? Very excited to join you today. So I work on the commercial partnerships team at Cannes Lions, but today I'll be speaking to you about my brand, Yellow Party. So,
what's going on, everybody? My name is Marcus Gilmore, and I as well was a CCDC ambassador last year, and this year we joined Adrian to really bring that voice here. And excited to join this panel and really have those conversations about creativity, community, and things that you all can take away like today and apply through creativity.
My name is Washington. I know you probably all see me all week running around, making sure everything is running smoothly. So it feels good.
Yeah.
Thank you, much appreciated. So it feels good to be sitting here looking down at the audience and joining you all in conversation. I am the co-founder, creator of Washington Strategic Ventures, which is my company, and super blessed to have been here to help elevate the CCDC Inkwell experience as a production partner, along with the fantastic people I have to my left. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and just jump into the conversation. And this is very much a conversation, not only with the folks here on the stage, but it's a conversation with those here in the audience as well. I want to start it off just with, we talk about building a community, we talk about creative impact. Can you just tell me just about the importance of how community has played in your life as being a creative?
I think that community is the lifeblood of everything that I do. I think that good art can't be made in isolation. And I feel like in order to move forward, in order to grow as a creative, you need to surround yourself with people who are invested in your mutual growth. I think community is one of the first things that a person should seek when they're coming up, and it's the last thing they should stop seeking even when they make it. So,
yeah. So I've come from a large family full of creatives, and so I think that community aspect was like kind of instilled within me from a young age, and yeah, I feel like, because my parents are musicians, and so I felt like, I was playing the piano and, the guitar before I could even speak. So I feel like that creativity was kind of just, ingrained in me.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so, yeah, just kind of bridging that gap between like that community aspect and creativity, that's something that we just kind of grew up with, so.
Sure.
Yeah, no, and I'm with everybody here on stage. I mean, from a large family to a digital community to even coming here, this is my second year at Cannes, and like you can feel that it's important to tap back in, and I didn't use WhatsApp that much until I came here. Absolutely. And you realize like, okay, I have to continue to tap in there and really unite with the people that I've met and build relationships, because that allows you to continue to grow.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we're gonna turn up to the.
Yeah. We got
like
a party going on in the background.
I can't even hear my thoughts.
We competing, but look, we're gonna make it happen. So we talk about community, and we typically we're born in communities, and then there's communities that we create as we matriculate through life,
True.
friends, school, and all these different things. How have you all gone about creating your own communities? I know, Brandon, you have Yellow Party, that takes place in New York City, and it's a place where not only have you created community in a sense of, having a good time, but creating community in the sense of networking, being able to bring people together with the same common goal to have a good time, but also to unwind and get to know other folks. So can you just all talk to me about like how you went about creating this, your own various forms of community today? Yeah.
Absolutely. So a lot of times, like, you're building your community without even realizing it. And that was
Absolutely.
my case with Yellow Party. So, just a little bit of context. I've been in New York. Shout out to all the New Yorkers out there.
All right, where the New Yorkers at? Where the New Yorkers at? Stand up.
Yeah, since 2018. So the past 5 years now. And, I live with my two brothers, my two blood brothers, and we all have a bunch of friends in New York, but kind of different scenes. I feel like we kind of just, all of our worlds kind of collided. So we were constantly, going to brunch with our friends and, hanging out, hosting events at our apartment rooftop. And it was funny. One day, my brother Gabe, he became obsessed with the color yellow. He was like, guys, like, we go to brunch all the time. What if we did an all yellow brunch?
Hey.
And we looked at him. We were like,
like, hold up, bro. What's going on?
it was so random.
Side up.
But we were like, wait, but that's actually a cool idea. So, we started planning this brunch out. And before you know it, we started telling all our friends about it. It seemed like we had the entire city of New York, like, just invested into it. And so we were like, no,
That's a fact.
We need to make this an actual thing. We had the event, a huge hit, and before you knew it, we had our community. We had people following us and, anticipating what we had, going on for the past 3 years now. And so, yeah, just really organically, as long as you, respectful and, put good intentions out there, I feel like, it's very, very easy to just organically build a community that way.
Absolutely. I'm gonna jump to you, Lo.
Would it be out of pocket for me to ask for the music to turn down just a little bit?
It's from the other beach. We can't control it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No
I thought that was us. I was like, dang.
No worries.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump to Marcus. I'm gonna answer you for the segue. So Marcus, I mean, you're a brother that I've known who has, Euro stepped through so many cities, within the country, the states, and also around the world. From Dallas to New York, and to now being in DC. With someone being in so many different places, how have you went about building and growing communities in so many unique different places?
Yeah, and that is true. Like the moving to different cities, you realize it's important to let people know when you move. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm moving to DC. Can you connect me with a person in advertising? Give me the hottest DJs. Give me restaurant owners, and then I go there and build those relationships. My mom always told me, you only get one chance to make that first impression.
Absolutely.
You don't get a second opportunity. So it's always making sure that I connect with those people in those different cities. I think too, it's like I go back, right? Like I go back to New York, I go to Dallas and visit family and make sure I get friends together and we grow alongside each other rather than like, okay, I left Dallas, now I don't talk to anybody. No, I still need that network to continue to grow and bring the knowledge that I learned living in New York, right? It's a hustle city. Even coming to here or going to London or out the country, like you need to take that information and bring it back to your community wherever you're
Absolutely.
from and give that back to them. So I think that is super important. And also like finding those niches, right? Like I work in experiential. So there's a group of experiential designers and 3D artists and producers. And when I touch those cities, I make sure that I tap in with them so I can continue to build that relationship.
For sure. And Lo, I mean, as a multi-hyphenate artist who's touched so many areas of creativity, we had opportunity of getting to know each other last year at Cannes Lion and here, at CCDC, and then had an opportunity to, be in Dubai and back in March at the Dubai Links Conference. And to see you navigate in so many spaces, not having fear of interacting with people, approaching, some of the top creative folks in the world and building your own creativity and communities with them. Can you talk to us more about like how you go about, launching and establishing community in the way that you go about it?
I'm a firm believer that nobody is any better or any worse than anyone else.
Absolutely.
And so one of my superpowers, and I joke with this with my friends, is that I don't really know who anybody is when I approach them. I'm just here for a good time. So when I go up to people, I always opt to treat them with respect because that's the foundation to any community. Communities are built not from, the who's who and like who can give you what, but real true community is built from a foundation of mutual respect, of kindness,
Absolutely.
and of authentic collaboration. And so for me, it feels very natural for me to go up and to speak to people. It feels very natural for me to try to collaborate and find ways to connect, because at the end of the day, there's that energy. And I think that energy is what pushes me forward.
Absolutely. I mean, even for myself, being, the youngest of four and always being someone who always felt like the only child in some senses, because my brother, he was an artist. He was very recluse, and my sisters, they were sisters, so they were together, so it was always just me. So I was always mobbing, making moves on my own. So everywhere I went, I had to kind of create my own community. But what was great about it was I just moved very authentically. So wherever I went, I always attracted the people who was for me.
Yeah.
And understanding when we are establishing communities and establishing friend groups, there's a deep significance to how important it is to what you ultimately want to do in life. Because what they say, the people around you can, sometimes, decide your not necessarily your fate, but where your direction. So, so to my next question, we're here in Cannes. Brandon, this is your first time. This is our second time. In what ways have you all thought about building community this time around, in this second go around? And Brandon, you are official. You work with Cannes Lion, and once again with Yellow Party. Can you just talk about this second time around? Maybe Marcus and Lo, just how it was being here, this on the rebound, and how was it building community here on the ground this time, in contrast to last year being your first time.
Who wants to go first?
You take it low, always.
Okay. So for me, last year, I got up on stage for my cultural update, and I shared that I had given away 80 business cards that time, and I was so proud of myself. But this year, I found that I wanted to approach it a little bit differently because it was my first time in Cannes, and I was just going up to people, and I was like, hey, my name is Lo Harris, and I do X, Y, and Z. What do you do? Blah, 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 blah. And that's just not the way that works for me personally. I found that it's super helpful for me to really kind of say, okay, like I want to have a conversation with a person. I just want to connect with that person. And I really want to keep it natural. So
Absolutely.
This time around, I really just embodied myself. I tried to center myself and say, okay, who am I? What kind of jokes do I want to tell? What kind of people seem like very open to my energy? And I think that really influenced the way that I was able to build those connections with people. And, you never know who anyone is, really.
Absolutely, for sure. Marcus?
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, like, Inkwell Beach is that community center, right? Like, a lot of people come back every single day. And the people that I met last year, I knew that they were going to come here. So I'm like, okay, I know that they're going to be here, and I'm going to make sure I speak and say hello. But truthfully, it started about 3 weeks ago. I posted a photo on LinkedIn. I was like, hey, if you're going to be in Cannes, I'll be there. Send me a message. Let's link up. And kept it super open. And it turned out like there were people that I reached out to, or when I posted that, they sent me messages like, hey, let's grab a drink. Let's meet along the Palais or at the Palais or things like that. So it started earlier, and now when I get here, now I can lock in and really schedule that time, right? Because in partnership here, working with CCDC, like I have to schedule my time to make sure that I nurture those relationships. It's not a one and done thing. And even the people that I did meet last year, and I realized I didn't follow up after, because following up is a muscle. You got to train that muscle. You can't just connect and that's it. We saw each other and like, that's on us. Like we looked at each other and like, that's on us. We should connect. And so it's already in my calendar. Like when I get back from the holiday, like July 9th or whatever, I already have in my calendar. Send the follow-up messages,
Absolutely.
Set up the meetings for the next 3 months. And that's how I'm going to continue these relationships and build that community.
Absolutely. And, this is a conversation about community, but also it's about creativity. Because, we're up here with some pretty dope folks. So I don't know if the audience is hip, but these are some pretty cool creative folks up here. I just want to...
Word.
Absolutely, thank you. I want you to welcome the audience into the world of your creativity. What's your superpower? What makes you fluent?
I'm gonna let someone else go first. I want to marinate in that.
Got it.
I can kind of speak on that.
Yeah.
I think one of my superpowers, I would say, is, not being afraid to grow in public. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
It's really easy, especially as a creative, to kind of get caught up in perfectionism, and trying to get every single detail right. But I feel like, especially what I've seen with Yellow Party, is people have been able to kind of follow our journey and see the real raw growth, and see all the flaws, and back when we couldn't even afford all the videographers and all the production people that we work with now. They just saw everything from a raw lens, and they were able to kind of grow with us, and that's how we really built our fan base and our our community. So I think as a creative, you can't get too in your head. You got to just allow people to grow with you. So I think
That's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, first off, great question. The superhero kind of thought process is like, it's moving for me. Some days it's this superpower of being able to not be fearful, or it's even just being able to connect with people at a foundational level of community or family, or sometimes it's going to someone and talking about work. Like, that is not always the best way. So being able to connect with people in a way that they feel they'll let their shoulders drop. And I think that that's one of my key skills, is knowing how to let people relax and be comfortable, and then let's have that conversation about whatever, if it's coming up with new brand ideas. And I talk shop a lot. Like, I talk about
Absolutely.
activations and experiential, but also we could talk about whatever's going on in the news, music, sports, and film. And I stick to that. Like, I'm not going to go and waver too far out of the things that I'm comfortable with and match those things with someone else.
Absolutely.
I would say, kind of off of that, my superpower is to be generous with my ideas. I think that oftentimes when you're a marginalized person and you're in a small creative community, it can be extremely easy to be hyper protective of your space in the industry or your space in the community, and that creates a lot of gatekeeping, whether you mean to or not. And for me, I am very open on my platforms of really encouraging and sharing advice to BIPOC creatives who are trying to find their way in freelancing. And people have said, like, oh, you need to stop that. You need to, people need to pay for that or whatever. You're giving away all your trade secrets. But I think that is my superpower, because, it's not enough to just hold the door open. You have to open it wider. You have to kick the door off.
Bill.
Yes,
Thank you,
applaud.
thank I mean, for me, storytelling, the art of storytelling was something that I've been enamored with since I was a kid. Just growing up, reading about the Harlem Renaissance, and in the way that music moved culture, and the way culture moved music. And then growing up and getting to a point where, I was, preparing to, go to law school, preparing to go into intellectual property law, and figuring out, like, is it something I really want to do, or do I actually want to create? Do I want to protect the ideas of other creators, or do I want to be the one creating? And then made that pivot, and now I'm in a space where not only am I telling the stories of other people's, I'm also able to tell the stories that I love, the stories that really empower me to go out into the world and do more things, to be more for more people. And a part of this conversation is about transforming communities through creativity. So when you think about your creative abilities and your superpowers, how have you all been able to use those to transform not only the spaces you occupy, but the places that are beyond you and beyond the places that you live and you frequent?
I could probably touch on that one. So one of the biggest things that one of our biggest mantras with Yellow Party is all characters welcome. All characters welcome. That's something that we always, just embed into our branding and our messaging. And it's something that we really carry out. And I think, instilling that in everything that we do, we've been able to build a community of people in so many different industries, so many different cultures. And it's really a reflection of who we are. So, even I do it with my brothers, but me and my brothers, we're all so different, and we learn from each other. You know, one of my good friends who's also in our group, he's Nigerian. My brother Gabe, he's part of the LGBTQ plus community. It's just so many different communities that we're kind of bringing together, and that people that aren't necessarily always in the same room, we're kind of making a point to put them all in the same room and, you know, let them know that everyone can vibe out, everyone can learn off each other, everyone can grow with each other. And so, yeah, I think in terms, it's going to have a global impact because it's giving us more reach.
Really love that.
Yeah, for me, and definitely coming from the agency space, it starts like truthfully in our brief, right? Like we have a saying at our agency at We Are Social. It's focusing on going beyond just the doors of our community. Like we have to go beyond whatever we create. It has to be bigger than that. And it starts with even just like our freelancers that we bring in. Who's designing a mural or who's designing the merch? Like we need to tap into other communities and not just go to the same group all the time. And so literally for us, it starts at the brief. Go outside the borders of our community to expand their reach and bring new audiences in.
Look.
I feel like for me, I really am passionate about young people, and I'm really passionate about college students, folks who are just coming up. And so part of that passion is really manifested through my involvement with the Can Diversity Collective and the group of ambassadors who have come in this year. I've really loved being able to really step in and cultivate an experience for them that is meaningful and that makes them feel supported. And for me, that's highly rewarding because I feel like, you know, these people are probably going to be hiring me one day. You know, these people are going to be going to heights that I can't even imagine. And for me, if I can be it doesn't hurt me at all to be a person who is one small piece of that success story for them, just as much as other people have really stepped in to be a small piece of my success story. So the more I give out, the more I get back. And I do feel like, you know, it keeps the cycle flowing.
The investment part is what they say. It's the investment part for me.
Yeah, it's an investment. It's an
absolutely.
investment. And you know, when people are investing, especially in young people, I think that's what really creates longer term change, because community isn't just a bunch of people with similar jobs or similar interests. Like community has to have a growth aspect to it, which means that you have to be planting seeds and putting in efforts towards creating the next generation of what that community can look like. You have to start planting trees that you might not ever see bloom, you know what I mean? And you have to be comfortable with making that investment, even if you're not bearing the fruit of it. I
love that. Go ahead, keep going.
I'm about to say, that's a bar right there. There's nothing to say after that one.
Got it. No, to that point though, you know, investing in the talent is so important, not only for creating global impact, you know, because we live in a global creator economy, but also to be able to do that, to build community, but also to transform that. So there's an organization that I've been with for the last few years named the Marcus Graham Project. And there's some folks here in the audience that, you know, are familiar with the Marcus Graham Project who participated. And it's an organization that focuses on taking BIPOC talent from around the world and bringing them together, you know, in a cohort and training them and developing them for that creative industry. And in that time, in over 16 years, this organization has produced some of the most fluent, dopest, creative talent in the world, amassing an alumni base of over 800 professionals. And now you look at them being in the industry for 16 years, these folks are now C-suite, executive creative director roles who are doing it. So when you talk about transforming communities through creativity and building community, that investment piece is huge. And I know we're getting close to time. I want to be able to leave some opportunities and some moments to really engage the audience and open it up for a conversation, as mentioned. Can we have someone for the audience come grab a mic and just field any questions that we may have? Miles? Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Miles.
Any questions?
Question.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm a CCDC scholar. As someone who's not a creative, what would you advise us in how to build community in our individual professions?
What industry are you in, or what's your role?
I'm an account manager in healthcare for public relations.
I mean, listen, I'm account as well, account brand strategy, and I think like that's okay. Like there's tons of account people that are around, but it's building me and you. We need to connect after this and talk about like, hey, what are you learning? How do you present? What is something important that you need to say when you're presenting to a client, or what does your recap decks look like? Like that's important for us to succeed, and even
Yes.
knowing how to manage the team. I have to talk to creatives, producers, data, like being able to know what information they need to get the job done. We only can talk amongst ourselves to get that information. So that's part of the community. It's finding those other account managers, people that lead the entire business. That's who we need to be talking to on a consistent basis, because they've gotten to the top, and we want to get there if you want to. But like, that's where it starts.
Absolutely, and I want to build on that. Creativity is in everything. Some of the greatest account directors and brand managers and project managers are creative, because you have to be creative in those spaces when you're dealing with clients. You have to come up with solutions. You have to be able to understand, your copywriters, your art directors, your graphic designers. So really being able to, have that position of having the experience of, being in an account space, but always know that creativity is in with everything you do, and it's upon you to discover that creativity and apply it to your role, and that's what makes you that unicorn that you're already becoming.
Facts.
I just want to double down too and say that creativity, like you said, is one of the most innate forms of humanity. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you're good at math, you are creative. You don't have to be an artist, you don't have to be a designer. Creativity is a part of the human experience, and you can tap into that in any way, shape, or form.
Love that.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Diller.
Hi, Evelyn Gonzalez, Dillard University. My question is geared more towards Lo. As an artist, in what ways do you use your artistry to build change and impact your community, that you can give some advice to those who are specifically artists?
Absolutely. So for me, I think that the best way that I can create art that creates change is to really tap into my own identity. I can't really tell anyone's story but my own. I can always assist people through like my technical skills or telling their stories, but I find that my work that has the most impact oftentimes is work that is really rooted in my feelings and my experiences at a specific point in time. So back in 2020, my art career really took off because I created this piece called Justice. It was during around the time of the George Floyd killing. It was around the time of COVID, and the picture is a woman, a black woman, with a mask on and her fist in the air, and it just says justice in it. And that piece went viral on social media, and it resonated with a lot of people because it was it was a piece of a specific place and a specific time. It really resonated with people during a very specific time, and that was my story. I didn't draw it to get attention. I didn't create it to build a following. It was just something that was a way for me to heal, and it happened to really resonate with a lot of people. So I think the more that you can tap into yourself and your story and tell it as authentically as you can through your artistry, you'd be surprised how many people really relate to that. What?
Target.
Oh, you can say it for me.
This FYI, my panel's being very humble up here.
Yeah, she is.
I need y'all to pop y'all shit,
Yeah,
please.
No.
Thank you.
Before she goes, like Lo, like the recent partnership that you had that was featured in Target, and like that's global impact. That is taking your thoughts and your creativity and putting it out there, and then getting a deal signed off that stuff. Excuse me. And it's like that's driving it, like that's big and that's huge, and I want people to know that about you. And
I appreciate that, but it's so deeply personal to me that I just don't even notice that it's making an impact because I'm just doing my own thing.
I know.
But I am in Target, so you can go find that.
Awesome. Yes. Hi, Cheyenne, CCDC ambassador, and forgive me if you might have already touched on this, but I find that in the conversation of community, we're talking about building and building and building, but I would love to know if you guys had any tips on sustaining a community. Like, how do you keep people engaged after you bring them into your messaging?
I could take this one definitely. And that's a great question too. I think the biggest thing is listening to your community, and as simple as that is, you'll be surprised how many people don't listen. But yeah, understanding your community, understanding what they want, understanding what makes them excited, understanding what they're looking to do. I feel like a lot of times we get so focused on our own goals and building our own brands. We have the wrong mindset sometimes, you know what I mean? But if you change your mindset to what can I do to make my community happy? What is my community looking to do? And if you start putting the people first, that's how you continue growing and retaining your community. So.
Yeah, I mean, we have all the tools. We got GroupMe, WhatsApp, all these spaces. And I realized, like, don't be afraid to set up the meetup in the city, like wherever you are. Like, don't be afraid. Some people will show, 3 people show, 5. That's successful in engaging and sustaining that relationship. Because once you drop the photo in the chat, they be like, dang, I missed out. And that's like engaging, but also providing value there, right? Like, more than just dropping an event. Like, if you hear something, part of the presentation is dropping that in there and saying, hey, like, I heard this is great for somebody. Like, being able to add value to that group provides that sustainability.
And I'd like to add that I feel like a very necessary and healthy part of being in a community is being able to relinquish your ego, especially when you're a community leader. The community isn't a vanity project. The community is about giving without expectation and receiving without expectation for a common cause.
This conversation was intentionally set for a lot of you ambassadors, because I remember us leaving last year, and the art of follow-up is super huge, especially being in a place like this where everyone is mingling and connecting and networking. It's important for you, as you establish your communities, to not only understand that it's important to follow up, but it's important to be consistent. And it's also important to be valuable to your community and to your network. You want to be mutually valuable. So, when you're contacting folks, when you're reaching out, it's not just always, asking what can be done for you, but, how can you be of service? Being and living a life of service, knowing that all things come back to you. For me, I'm about just like creating strategy, in regard to how I network and how I move, but also pausing on all the technical and logistical things and just trusting intuition and trusting the spirit and being able to move around and attract the things, the people, the life, all the feelings, the emotions that you want in life, and those things it's a semi-philosophical, but it's very true. I think if you take the time to reflect in this very moment or on your way back home and think about the people you met, and think about the energy in which you was moving in that moment when you met, and think about how powerful that is, that the way you were moving, the things you thought about on the plane here and on that long flight, and how you were able to manifest those things just by being yourself. So more importantly than it is, upholding your network and building your community is being the person you want your community to resemble. So, because you're going to attract what your community is. So spend time on working on self, growing, healing, being a contributive factor to your community, being in service of others is super important because it helps you remove that ego and move with a God flow to be able to attract the things that are necessary and purposeful and intentional for you. We have time for more questions, so please feel free. Keep them coming. If not, we'll do one more question. I see there's a question in the back. Or I see there's one in the front. That was me forcing somebody to raise their hand in the back by calling out the back.
I would like to know, so everybody is talking nowadays about the AI. Do you think they might be like instrument for you to grow your community, or where do you see new inspirations, and where do you see more possibilities to grow your community?
Is that through AI, was your question?
Yeah, AI is one of the possibilities as other inspirations that might come up to you or in the future coming up.
So one thing about AI, it's a tool that we've heard it a million times on stages. It's a prompt, right? You have to prompt it and you have to give it that information. I think too, it's like, I need to go learn about how to prompt it in a way to build the communities. Like I don't think it's there yet. And I think that's the factor, is like, how do you learn how to prompt it to deliver community development? I think there are going to be some advancements in tools that people are going to use, websites where you can go and gather that information, but I don't see it today right now.
And did you get any inspirations here while attending Catalyze, how you can grow your community?
You know, I'm going to say no. Yeah, not right now.
I would hop in here as a visual artist, because I think there is a lot of anxiety in the visual community around things like Midjourney. But weirdly enough, I've found that there's been a lot of community that has been built around AI. There are a lot of artists who are trading tips on prompting. I don't necessarily think that traditional art is going to go away. I think that you still have to have that human touch, but I do think that, you know, it's a medium. I think of AI as a medium, and I think that just like certain mediums like digital art communities, oil painters, like more modern pieces, sculptors, woodworking, artist studios, I think that community will develop in that realm as well. So I think that community can exist among spaces like AI.
So to add and to build and wrap as well, I think, you know, AI is a tool, you know, and using that to, if you're someone who already is building communities, you know, like Yellow Party, you know, like a question that Brandon's already asking himself, you know, how am I able to use AI in a way to, you know, create prompts, to write copy, and to do the things that his team is spending time doing that can be automated through technology, which is another layer or nuance of how AI is being used in that form. So there's so many ways in my perspective, and even in my way I use things, AI nowadays, it's like I'm using for simple tasks like, you know, social media posts, you know, reaching out through, you know, blogs and subscription posts to folks who subscribe to my website and to my link tree. And as a way to help continually grow my community, but do it more efficiently so I can spend more time actually being present with community and not being the one trying to bring everyone together and hosting and then not actually being able to connect. Because once again, to the last statement, you want to be the person and be the thing that is attracting the type of community you want. So in my usage, and it's very young, and we are still at the precipice of it, but being able to use it as a tool until it comes to a point where it's something beyond that. But I think right now, that's been a fantastic, phenomenal way to really leverage such a phenomenal technology and tool. Was there any other builds?
No, you said that perfectly. You said it better than I did. That's what I'm talking about.
I got your back, brother.
Always.
One last question.
This one is for Marcus. I'm curious to your previous answer, why not?
Why not? Because I see it from, why I said why not is I use it in a simple task like writing copy and taking notes and recording conversations. But then when I think about how I think about experiential, and as you see, there weren't any activations in the spaces along here where you walked in and there was like AI-focused experiences. None. So that's why I said not yet. Like, I don't see it right now. I mean, you saw posters, right? But like not a full experience that says you prompted and something happens for you to enter a beach. Nowhere. So that's why I said that.
All right. Thank you, Thank you, Miles. Appreciate you for your help. I just want to wrap it up and say thank you all for your time and your attention today. I want to just leave the panel just with the opportunity to leave some lasting words, whether it's to our ambassadors, to the folks here who decided to spend the rest of your afternoon with us, or just one word or some words of wisdom, but just anything you want to leave with the audience before we leave the stage.
I would say that always remember that people will, if they might not remember your name, they might not remember your face, but they will remember how you make them feel. So continue to treat everyone with respect, no matter who they are or how you met them, because you never know what can be done in the future.
That's a good one. That's a good one. If I had one thing to leave you all with, especially for any like entrepreneurs in the room, I would say just take that leap. Don't overthink, and don't, like I said earlier, don't be afraid to grow in public. You're constantly inspiring people each day, and everything that you're working towards is for a reason. So allow people to see that. Allow people to see you grow.
Yeah, I mean, you all are saying great things. I think like your 9 to 5 and your entrepreneurship, your 5 to 9, everybody's entrepreneurship is different, but also find your passions. But I mean, continue to enjoy moments like this. And again, follow-up is a muscle. So when you do follow up with intention with the people that you met, and continue to build those communities that you fostered here.
Absolutely, and I'll just add and wrap here. This is not only for the ambassadors, because this is a human thing. Remain curious and lean into fear, because on the other side of that is bliss and the things that you're actually maybe running from or afraid of. So be curious as you can be and lean into fear, because your greatest version of yourself is on the other side of that. So thank you all. I appreciate you. You all have been amazing. Thank you all for just being here for this whole entire week. There's been so many beautiful faces that's in the audience who've been showing up and showing out and representing, making Inkwell the greatest beach in all of Can Lion. Shout out to Adrian C. Smith and CCDC. We thank you, we appreciate you, and look forward to seeing you all next year. Have a good one.